Hi there, science fans. My name is Dan Casciano, and you are watching Science and Other Stuff for Senior Citizens. This is the fourth COVID-19 video in the COVID-19 series. In this short video, I will describe some of the reasons why some of us have an increased or susceptible response to COVID infection, while others have a normal or a resistant response to infection by the COVID-19 virus. I would be very pleased if you subscribe to this channel and clang the bell to be reminded when new videos are published. Also, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up. In this slide, we are reminded how the SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 infects a human respiratory lung cell. As you recall, the virus has as its informational molecule RNA instead of DNA. The RNA molecule is surrounded by a membrane that has proteins on that membrane surface that are called spike proteins. The virus interacts with a cell surface receptor called ACE2 that results in membrane encapsulation and entry into the cell. The viral RNA is released within the cell and begins the process of replicating itself and killing the cell. Many viruses are produced and released to infect neighboring cells as well as neighboring humans. Upon infection, the human's defense systems are initiated. First, an attempt is made to prevent the virus from entering the physical environment of the cell while simultaneously generating an immune response. This response results in production of antibodies that target the virus surface spike proteins, preventing the entry of the virus into the cell, therefore inhibiting viral replication. This process works well in people who have no serious health issues or who have an immune system that is not compromised. However, not all humans can defend themselves from the virus. This slide shows some of the causes of an increased susceptibility to COVID-19 infection and disease severity. This virus seems to hit some people harder than others, with some individuals experiencing only mild symptoms, while others are hospitalized requiring ventilation. Initially, scientists thought that age was the dominant factor, since 80% of deaths in the U.S. are in adults 65 or older. However, new research revealed a number of underlying issues, some of them represented in this slide, that impacted on disease severity. These issues could explain why some seemingly perfectly healthy 20-year-olders with disease do so poorly, while older 70-year-olders dodge the need for critical care. Age does contribute to the risk of dying from the infection, but part of that trend may be due to the fact that many elderly people have chronic health issues, such as heart disease and diabetes, that increase the severity of the response. The ability of the immune system to defend against pathogens also decreases with age, resulting in an increased vulnerability to severe viral infections. Diabetes also appears to be linked to risk of severe COVID-19 infections. Although it is not presently known whether diabetes is directly increasing severity, recent research suggests that some diabetics have an increased number of ACE2 receptors located on respiratory cells, as well as on the surface of cells of other organs. This increased receptor load may be related to increased virus load, resulting in overwhelming the host's immune system. People suffering from cardiovascular disease, such as heart disease and hypertension, suffer worse complications from COVID-19 than those with no pre-existing condition. A study of Chinese patients found that 1 in 5 developed heart damage. Some had existing heart conditions, some did not. Since oxygen depletion is a result of the viral infection, the loss of oxygen may be related to the cardiovascular response. On the other hand, the virus may damage the heart directly, as heart tissue contains ACE2 receptors on the surface of the cardiac cells. People who smoke are prone to severe COVID-19 infections. Smoke exposure over time diminishes the immune response, damages the respiratory tract, and initiates chronic inflammation. A recent study suggests that smoking increases the number of ACE2 receptors on lung cells, thereby increasing the viral load. Some early studies suggested a link between obesity and more severe COVID-19 disease in people. It is not clear why obesity is related to more hospitalizations. However, in general, obesity is thought to be a risk factor for severe infections. Obese patients may have reduced lung capacity and increased inflammation, and obesity is associated with an increase in type 2 diabetes. As noted, diabetics were nearly 3.7 times more likely to have a critical case of COVID-19. Blood type appears to influence the severity of disease outcome also. In a recent study, individuals with blood types in the A group, that is A positive, A negative, AB positive, and AB negative, were at higher risk of contracting the disease than individuals in the non-A group, while people with O blood types, O negative and O positive, seem to have a lower risk. There are no known mechanisms to explain these blood type differences and susceptibility to the virus. There are indications that certain genetic factors may be associated with susceptibility to COVID-19 infection, and several are under study. This slide graphically represents how I visualize how the novel coronavirus causing COVID-19 seems to hit some people harder than others. The x-axis is the dose of the virus to which an individual is exposed. These values can be described as per person, per cell, or per particular organ. The y-axis is the response to that particular dose of virus. The higher the number, the more severe the response. If one focuses on the lower dose range, for example 0 to 0.4, the susceptible individual has a very high response in comparison to the resistant person. One can think of the susceptible person as 65 years or older, or as a younger person with pre-existing cardiovascular or lung disease, or suffering from diabetes or obesity or a compromised immune system. The response in this group would be harsh, resulting in hospitalization or death. The resistant person exposed to these doses has little to no deleterious response. These individuals represent mainly asymptomatic viral carriers, or belonging to a healthy group of young people, or an older person with a robust immune system capable of fighting the virus with antibodies. This latter group needs to be aware that their experience is not universal in the population, and also needs to be cognizant that they may infect others who may not be resistant to the severity of COVID-19 infection. Understanding these response differences, especially those who respond by death, is the reason that the CDC has recommended using the tools represented in the next slide. This slide summarizes guidelines issued by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, that recommended what precautions we should be taking to reduce the probability of COVID-19 infection. They include cleaning and washing your hands often, avoiding contact with sick people, practicing distancing, keeping 6 to 10 feet between you and the other, avoiding crowds outdoors and especially indoors, wearing a mask in public settings and when around people outside of the household. Wearing a mask has been shown to greatly reduce being infected by people who have COVID-19 and spreading the virus to others. For more information about science, visit my website at www.dcasciano.com. If you have any questions or would like me to develop a video on a specific science subject, leave them in the comment section below or email me at dan@dcasciano.com. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be informed when I upload a new video. Thank you for watching Science and Other Stuff for Senior Citizens. Bye.